On this week's episode of An Echo of Glory, we're looking ahead to Friday's FA Cup game against Manchester City and look back at a famous version of that tie from 2004 with someone who played a big part in the game. And we also talk our favourite Spurs memorabilia. Welcome to another episode of An Echo of Glory. I'm Johnny Blaine. Joining me, Gary Diamond.
Hello, good evening.
And Jake Robson.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
How's it going?
I don't know what time zone Gary's in.
No, it's just taking so long because these clowns can't get it right. We've been here for ages waiting for them.
Do you think we should look for a better studio?
Definitely. Ditch these.
Better studio than Launch Pod Studios.
Can't find better than Launch Pod Studios, but seriously, where
You
we can't
find better than Launch Pod Studios.
Very good.
We were about to get turfed out.
There ain't no studio like a Launch Pod studio.
Only Jake and James love you.
Okay, we're going to start off with something you actually foolishly forgot to do last week. Maybe because you weren't here and you forgot to prompt me.
Oh.
Vote for us. Make An Echo of Glory great again. We have, as has been said, we've got Donald Trump on our side.
Do we?
Yeah. You ever seen that footage of him doing the League Cup draw at Trump Towers with St and Greavesy?
Yeah. Mad.
No.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wait.
Yeah, but I mean, when we're talking like
80s?
91, something like that,
Yeah,
80, late
80s, early
before
90s.
he was obviously, you know,
You've got
St
to
and
seek that
Greavesy.
out.
Sorry, so he did a League Cup draw.
With
They
St. and
took it
Greavesy.
to
St.
New
and
York,
Greavesy.
didn't they? They took it to New York for some
Wait,
reason.
who did he draw for us?
We were probably out.
You can't come on here and drop knowledge like that and then not have who he drew for
I
us.
just remember him talking about Leeds United, I think. He was
No, I
like,
don't.
Leeds
I just
United?
know that he did it.
Leeds United,
See-
they're so good. They're so great. They win everything.
Yeah.
Not bad, eh?
Not bad, actually. Better than all your Spanish and other stuff you tried. Seek it out. I'll put it on our socials. It's a really, really funny bit of TV. Right, where were we? Vote for us. As we've said, last few weeks we have been shortlisted into the final 12 of the best team podcast. Is that funny?
No, I'm just getting over the random. I wasn't expecting Trump on this show. Getting over that.
We've had some great guests. Maybe he'll come on. Do you know what? Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for Donald Trump.
Why
Echo
not?
of Glory was the greatest show, and then I came
stop.
on, and it was even better. Yeah,
Vote for us. Best team podcast at the Sports Podcast Awards. There's other football podcasts in there. The Arsenal AFTV version. Don't vote for them. Don't vote for View from the Lane either.
Don't
vote
read
for
the
us.
rest out.
Don't read the rest.
Don't
out.
tell them the rest
No, but,
of them.
all right,
Just
we're
vote
just better
for
than
us.
them. And
Just
buy
vote for us.
some merch. We've got the Echo merch. Gary's got himself a... What have you got?
It's an Echo of Glory. It's not quite a pint glass, but it does fit a can of Stella beautifully.
All right. What?
And it's really nice, frosted, nice sort of symbol, emblem on it. It's lovely, actually. It's really nice quality.
A 550 is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it? Would you call that a tankard?
I don't know.
Does a tankard have to be? Can you get a glass tankard?
I don't know the technical terms.
It's that kind of vibe, though,
It
isn't it?
fits my pint. It fits my can of Stella.
Nice,
That's
isn't it?
about
It's
as much
really
as I need to-
nice.
It is nice. You keep it in the fridge during the day, and then it comes out. You pour the. We know how beer works, but yeah.
you
Thanks for
definitely
explaining it. Explain your baseball cap.
It's a
He
baseball
doesn't know how
cap.
that works. He still hasn't bent the pin.
Don't go there again.
Oh, I love wearing the baseball cap. It fits. I modelled it when I was last in.
Yeah.
Took it off, showed the strap. You know, it's just a cap. It's
All
very
right, so
comfy.
Basically, vote for us and buy some merch.
But absolutely.
Your match day wear.
Oh, I'll be wearing this to Brentford.
You're not going to City?
I couldn't get a ticket.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into it. But yeah,
I'm not going either.
there's a different reason for that.
Wow.
That's one for next week.
Okay. I'm not going
In
to
fact,
go in.
you know, maybe I will go into it. Basically, the person that I normally go with can't go, and they're not doing ticket
You can't
transfer,
exchange it.
ticket share. So I can't get another person to come with me
Unless they take the person you go with phone.
phone. Yeah, yeah. So you're not. So the only option was to give up my seats and go in for when it went on general sale. I logged on. I was 20,000th in the queue.
Was that this morning?
No, it was last Thursday. So yeah,
So you can't do it.
no, I wanted to go. What am I going to do?
It would be helpful if you
if you've got I was going to say if you've got a couple of tickets, let me know. You can't give them to me unless they're paper tickets. They
What
don't
was going on
exist.
this morning? So I logged onto the ticket site, and there were like 4,500 people in front of me, which I've never seen, which is why I assumed that it was this morning.
Maybe it's still on general sale.
No, it's not. They're
Can't
sold
be.
out.
Can't
I
be.
don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Anyway, sorry about that, mate.
Yeah, sad.
Okay, some club news. No game for the 21s. Under
no
18s.
game for the seniors.
Pardon?
No game for the seniors.
No game for the seniors.
God, was the weekend dull.
Yeah, but a weekend without Ange is not a fun weekend, is it?
No.
Stress-free, though.
Nah, get him back on.
Yeah, give me the stress.
Okay. Your stress is coming Friday night, mate. Don't worry about that.
I'm already really stressed about it.
We'll come to it.
How many messages did I send you yesterday about Haaland's back in training?
Yeah, about 6 times. But then...
And then followed up with unexpected to play.
Yeah, well, let's hope he does.
I'm pretty stressed.
18s beat Burton 3-1 in the FA Youth Cup, drawn at home to Bournemouth in the 5th round. Did you know we've not won the Youth Cup since 1990?
I knew that,
Okay.
but only because you told me earlier.
I'm going to read you the team. Recognise any of these names?
Go on, now this I want to hear.
Ian Walker.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Ian Hendon. Remember him?
Yeah.
Jake doesn't know any of these.
I know Ian Walker.
Yeah. You weren't around, were you?
What a hair. What Barnet. I was
Lovely
around,
Barnet.
yeah.
For Walker, yeah.
Yeah. Ian
But not
Hendon.
in 1990, how old were you?
Yeah, 2.
Warren Hackett,
No.
I think went on to
Warren Buffett.
Buffett. More American. I felt
He,
like
he went on to launch a clothing brand, which has become huge in football
Yes, yeah, that's the one. Neil Smith, who went on to manage
Gloucester opening bowler, wasn't he?
Yeah, good.
Not the same
Good
one,
cricket knowledge. Went on to manage Bromley successfully. Played for Fulham, Gillingham.
Yeah, go on. Who else?
David Tuttle.
Oh, David Tuttle. I remember him. He scored against Luton on the plastic pitch, I think, once.
I don't remember that. I remember him scoring in the UEFA Cup, Winners' Cup, I think.
I didn't think I'd know any of these because in the first season, my first season, I've said this before, was the first Klinsmann season. And I know basically all those teams, none of them came through the youth system, really, did they?
Tuttle was around in that season.
Yeah, they didn't start. I'm
Barely
talking
played.
Barnby, Mabbott.
No, they weren't around.
Sheringham, Anderton. No, he was. He
Yeah,
came from somewhere else.
Portsmouth.
Then we
Yeah,
have a run of
Portsmouth.
people who don't have a Wikipedia page. So
Yeah,
Victor Hardwick,
No.
Gregory Howell, Kevin
No.
Smith, bloke who does have a Wikipedia
Kevin
page.
Smith.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Yeah.
Another American.
Huh?
probably.
Elisa Mora, who I've never
No.
heard of. Scott Houghton
Yes, obviously.
scored against Luton from the halfway line when the floodlights went out.
Yeah. Oh, God, I remember that game.
Anthony Potts, no. And Lee Fulling, and someone who's only got a surname, Houghton. We were runners up in 1995. Did you know that?
No.
Against Man United. So that team in 1990 beat Middlesbrough.
Who was the team in '95? Or have I thrown?
No, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
Doing
okay.
it. We're doing it. They played Man United in 95 and lost. Simon Brown, no, goalkeeper. Stephen Carr.
Uh-huh.
He was all right.
Ross Darcy, no.
I vaguely remember the name, but I don't know why.
Kevin Mayer, who had a good career, lots of appearances at Manchester Southend. Simon Wormel, no. Simon Spencer, Stephen Clements,
Oh, yep.
Mhm.
Had
Mark-
a famous dad as well.
yep. Mark Arbour, who did play a little bit. Peter Gain, Neil Fenn, and Rory Allen,
Yes, my
Rory
favourites.
who played
Now,
against
they
Man
went on to
United.
play United in the third round at Old Trafford in a 2-0 defeat in an injury-ravaged Tottenham side.
Yeah.
In a game that I went up to with my cousin, I think, by train. And, we lost 2-0 and basically didn't touch the ball, I think.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Mark
Sad
Janney,
times.
don't remember. James Bunn, and great name, Aaron Shave, who doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
There you go.
So there you go. Another trip down memory lane.
Just shows you though how many, and it's better now. Not many players,
No.
certainly in
No,
those days.
you
At
go
Tottenham.
it's actually a really interesting rabbit hole to go down. You look at
And
old.
you're expecting to remember more names though,
Mm.
aren't you? But it's just not many.
You
not
look at
many
old
come
FA.
through.
You look at old FA Youth Cup teams, and it's
You mean you do?
just look at this United team. And I won't list it all. Phil Neville, Ronnie Warwick, who had a decent
Yeah,
career.
good
Terry
player.
Cook
Yeah.
played a bit. Phil
Yeah.
Mulrine. So yeah,
Good team.
Michael
But
Owen. played
United
the
were
year after.
notorious for doing it, whereas obviously we.
Rory
That's-
Allen became a bit of a sort of little cult hero of mine because he gave up football to go and join the Barmy Army,
Mm.
which is, I mean, just absolutely legendary.
We've actually tried to find him, haven't we?
We
so
have
if
tried to find him.
anybody.
If anybody-
No, genuinely,
No,
we'd
no,
love
seriously,
to get
seriously.
Rory on.
we tried to get him on when I think we just launched and it was the Ashes. And being a former Spur and a member of the Barmy Army and clearly a very passionate cricket fan, we did try to track him down and get him on. No success. So if anybody does have contact with Rory Allen,
or
tell
if
him-
Rory's listening.
or if Rory's listening,
Yeah,
then
come on, Rory.
We'd love
Send us a
love to have a
message.
chat. I remember Rory. I used to really like him as well as a player. So yeah.
All right, and then so the women played at the weekend on Sunday evening, 4-3 at West Ham. Gary, you watched it?
Yeah, it did. It was on TV, and it was a cracking game, a much, much closer game than it should have been. What was clear throughout, I think we are going to get Jen Scalacci on at some point. So it's something that I'd like to talk to her about. Former captain of Tottenham women's. But what was clear, what was so clear, it almost reminded me of the West Ham game against Tottenham at our place. The styles of football were so similar. We were playing beautiful football. Every goal that we scored,
from the gods.
It was at times. It really was, and every goal that we scored was beautifully curated. Like wonderful, wonderful goals. Grace Clinton, she had
on loan from Man United. They want to buy her, or that's what Robert Wilhelm sort of suggested, but I'm not sure United would even sell her.
I mean, after the performance on Sunday, I can't see why they would. She dictated everything. She scored 2 absolute crackers. But what will sometimes get missed was she was involved. She got the assist for our second goal with a beautiful defence splitting pass, like top quality pass that. And she also started the move for the 4th goal as well. But what was noticeable was, one, the way we played versus how they played. They fed off scraps. Every single one of their goals, you just look at it, you're like, oh, so easily avoidable. Yeah. So poor.
But they said that after he even admitted they need to get better at the back.
Oh, I mean, every goal was a gift. Every goal they scored was an absolute gift, and we carried on letting them back into this game. But they showed good resilience. They stuck to their principles, and they went and scored a really good 4th goal with Naz coming off the bench and getting the winner. I really like Naz, by the way. I don't know why she doesn't start a bit more, but she came off the bench, adds a bit of pace and impetus up front, and she scored a great 4th goal to give us the win. And
West Ham have been a bit of a bogey side for Spurs in recent years, so that was a good win.
And that's 3 on the spin, I think, for the ladies. So
all comps,
really good. Yeah.
Anything else to report, Jake?
From the weekend.
Let's go back to last weekend, because we didn't have you on after United, and you went into the United game. I think you said to me, I predicted a draw, 2-2 draw. Just thought I'd put that back.
I know.
And you were like, no. You were like, no.
I got it right.
Yeah, I did.
Get something right.
And then you were a bit like, no, I wouldn't be happy with the draw. I'm really confident. And you were right. We played really, really well. But how, just briefly, we're not going to go mad on the game, but how did you see it?
I don't even remember it.
Oh.
No, I'm joking. I do think that I felt afterwards that I wouldn't say opportunity missed, but it felt like we should have won.
Yeah.
And you come away with I wasn't disappointed, because I think you got to take a 2-2 draw at Old Trafford, but it certainly felt like, it didn't feel like we were the better team. And it just felt like the second half, the first half, it was all going off. And second half, and the game finished, and I thought, nothing really happened in the second half, really. We didn't boss the game in this. We bossed possession, but we didn't get the ball forward in the box, and we didn't have as many chances as we did. It felt like if we were going to win it, we almost needed to kill it off in the first half.
Yeah, correct.
But the thing that I wrote down, Richarlison, I think Ange's just unlocked him now, hasn't he?
Do you think it's Ange, or do you think but is it also
a bit of everything?
Is it also he's had the surgery, he's come back, he himself has said he's fit physically for the first time,
but on that, guys,
and mentally as well.
But he's wanted to. He's probably wanted to. I can't look. I'm guessing here. If say Conte or a manager that Richarlison didn't like, he may have had the op, and who knows? I'm just not going to fight for this. I reckon he loves Ange, and he loves being here, and he himself has made a great effort to get sorted.
Yeah, I think a big turning point as well was he had been stuck out on the left, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, against Newcastle, Ange switched it and said Sonny, who we had been saying up front, if he's not scoring, he's kind of not really contributing enough. And I wasn't expecting, when you think that he faced up Trippier, it makes complete sense. But that game gave Rich the opportunity up front, and he hasn't let it go, has he?
I think there's no coincidence that you look at some of the players. We've talked about this before. Some who weren't even playing last season, and some who've come in. Your Van der Vens, Vicario, Udogie, and then the guys from last year, Bissouma, who was there. Sar's come through. They're all playing really well. So it can't be a coincidence that Richarlison is now just add anyone you want to that team, and Ange will make them a better player. So I think he has to take the credit for that. And I now think we've got to the point where Richarlison. I think anyone that says that Son is a better number 9 than him, I don't think knows what they're talking about, because maybe Son, you probably say Son is a better finisher, maybe, but I think what you get from Richarlison, aside from the finishing, because he scores, his hold-up play, his aerial prowess, his physicality, his strength on the ball, Son doesn't have any of that. Son's a great player, but Son has done most of his good work.
But there are games where you'd look to play Richarlison, like a team that we know is going to sit deep, perhaps. So say, for example, City coming up, right? If we had Son available, would you play Richarlison up front, or would you
100%.
play
Yeah,
Son?
no,
against
I'd play
I think
Richarlison up
Richarlison is out.
Really?
and Son to expose them on the wing.
100%. And I think
Which is
and I
where he's
think-
always caused
But you've got
damage.
Werner to expose them on the wing.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but I just think Richarlison through the. I think Richarlison,
Werner would
as
be
we've
on the
said.
bench if everyone was fit.
Also, I think if you want, yeah, exactly. I think Werner would probably be on the bench if everyone's fit. He may. I mean,
Son's done a lot of damage to City on that wing.
I just think also
God,
if you
hasn't
get Richarlison, if you can get Richarlison, as we've said it, in the width of the posts, in the penalty area, in the width of the posts, I think he's. I think that's where you got.
If you
where
asked
want it.
Richarlison and Son where they would rather play, Richarlison definitely would say number 9,
Yeah.
right? Without a doubt. Where would Son say?
Yeah,
Really good question.
good question. When we get him on, we'll ask.
If anybody knows Rory Allen and Heung-min Son,
And while we're at it, if you can find Andy Turner, because that's another one of my all-time
Andy Turner,
favourites.
Everton at home, late
Oh,
goal,
that's why. That's why it's one of my. I just remember that game so well.
running down the high road
Yeah.
after we'd scored.
Yeah.
Good times.
Anyway, so 3 of them. So help us out, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just agree with your analysis, by the way. Nicely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I thought the other thing was it just felt like in the second half that we didn't. The bench, obviously, we've had this in the past. The bench didn't really offer us much, and we just ran out of not legs, but it sort of felt like
Couldn't come on and impact
the
the game.
skill and quality that you'd want to then take over
Yeah.
from the guys going off wasn't
like
quite
you say,
there.
we dominated possession. What was surprising was that United didn't actually do more because they did have a bit more coming off
Yeah.
the bench, and it felt like
Yeah, exactly.
we had them under control, but we
Yeah.
couldn't really do enough to find that way through. But yeah, there you go.
Okay, just to
Also, Romero. How many centre backs have played for Tottenham that have been as good at or better than him attacking a corner or
Richard Goff.
scoring it with a header?
Yeah, only one
At
season
Tottenham,
though, didn't see?
Richard
Yeah,
Goff.
yeah.
Which
Only
season
one
was this?
season,
86,
1987.
87?
Mate,
yeah,
come on.
86.
Some of us
player.
weren't even born.
Yeah, he was like that. Do you know something?
Ledley King
But
got
you
a
know what
couple
I'm
from
you know what I'm
corners.
talking about. I mean,
Ledley King,
and Michael Dawson was pretty
Dawson.
good, but he didn't score that many goals.
Goff,
I mean,
going
he's
back to
just-
Richard
he-
Goff, I'd love to get him on. Genuinely.
If anybody knows Richard Goff,
Is this the one that played for Everton? The same one that played for Everton?
Because he was so good, and I was really
Like
upset.
10 years
with-
later.
no,
he
he,
plays for Everton.
he did play for. He
And
went to
Rangers.
Rangers from us.
Rangers.
He was so good, and I was first player. I was upset that we lost because he was so good.
Right. I mean, mine was Klinsmann, yours was Richard Goff, but okay.
Anyway,
But no, he's you know, Arsenal have Gabriel, you know, I can't even think of any others now off the top of my head, but over the years, you know, Vidic,
Tarkowski at
Ferdinand,
Everton.
Tarkowski.
Steve
I mean,
Bruce.
Romero is now a serious goal threat for the defending team when we've got a corner.
so is Dragushin when he plays. He scores. A few
We haven't
goals for
seen it
Genoa.
yet, though,
No,
so-
but he
yeah,
is.
yeah,
that,
yeah.
But he is that player.
How could, just out of interest, how could you get Richard Goff? You could get him?
Yeah, I mean, it might not still be there, but I know someone who's lived next door to him.
Try that. That'd be great.
Yeah. What? Just talk about that one season.
Yeah, he was phenomenal in that one
He was
season. It was my first season, really.
I always interested to know why he left.
Yeah, I'd like to know that.
Wow,
While we've got you here,
planned
Rich, why did you leave?
we've planned shows for the next year today.
Richard Goff, Rory Allen, Donald Trump, Heung-min Son,
Donald Trump,
Andy Turner.
Andy Turner, Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
Okay, just to finish off the club news, the loans. We've got a lot of loans. A couple of people have actually messaged in to say, can you do a bit on loans? I'm going to mention the loans, but we are in a few weeks going to speak to a Plymouth fan or journalist to see how the boys, Ash Phillips and Alfie Devine, who made his debut against Cardiff last week. Seems to be that Ash Phillips is doing really, really well. Perisic has gone to Hajduk Split. There's that weird thing that he's getting paid €1 or something. Didn't really understand that. Tanganga has gone to do what he does best, which is sit on the bench for Millwall. Reguilon has gone to Brentford. Unlucky, you can't play in your next game. Can't play against us. And I saw that Troy...
Is that unlucky? Would we want... No, that's rude.
For him,
Unlucky, yeah.
the guy just wants to play.
Yeah.
He'd have probably been on the bench anyway.
Yeah.
And Troy Parrott is scoring goals in Holland, I saw, for Excelsior. And then I was surprised. I looked it up. He's still 21.
That's amazing, isn't it? Because we've been speaking about him, I feel like, since he was about 16.
Yeah.
And always next season, he was going to be on the bench and break through. But he is still only 21. So, how old was Kane when he broke into the team? Because he was still
older
on
than
loan.
that.
That's
Talk
what I'm
amongst
saying.
yourselves.
Because he'd done
But that's what-
loans and loans and loans.
Yeah.
That everywhere.
This is what I'm saying. Is people sort of writing Troy Parrott off, and I'm not for any one moment suggesting that Troy Parrott is going to become Harry Kane. But I feel like Harry Kane was on loan at the age of 21, sort of piddling about in a lower league, doing okay.
He went to Leyton Orient in 2011 and he was born in 1993. You do the maths, so 17, 18 that year. On Harry Kane, oops. How do we feel about... But how do we feel... Okay, then I'm going to ask this now. if Harry Kane doesn't win anything, I think we might have asked it before, but it's getting closer and closer. Leverkusen now 7 points clear. I think Bayern have maybe got a game in hand.
They
Bayern
do
got
have a
a game in
game.
hand,
I
so
think they've
they've
got a
got
game
to-
in hand, and they're going to choke, aren't they?
Leverkusen, they're
Yeah.
a good side.
Yeah, but they'll choke. Bayern
They've
always
been
win
winning
it.
games very late.
Late.
Often.
Well,
That's
that
the
can't,
mark
that can't
of a
happen all-
champion.
Yeah, but it can't happen all season, can it?
Well,
What happens when that stops?
They're playing great football.
How do
They're
we
playing
feel?
really
They're at the
great
German Cup. They could win the Champions League. I don't think they will.
So the
How do we feel
Bundesliga-
about Harry Kane
Not winning
being the
anything.
best player in a team and scoring loads of goals in a team that's not playing very well?
We're used to that.
Ring any bells?
Yeah, but I want to know how you feel if he doesn't win anything. Would you be like, oh, I'm sorry for him? Or would
Yeah,
you be
but
like,
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, he's not there for one season, is he? He's going to be there for a couple of
I know,
seasons.
but take each season as it comes?
It will really annoy me because everyone will just say, it will just be the Harry Kane stick beaters.
yeah, but I'd rather that than he goes somewhere, win trophies, and go, oh, you see, Tottenham still can't. You know, it's the other way around if he does win a trophy.
No,
Listen,
it will be used as a stick to beat to Spursy. Harry Kane's brought
it's always-
Spursiness
whichever way it happens,
Bayern.
whichever way it happens, it will be a big old joke about
You
Tottenham.
know, they call Leverkusen Neverkusen.
There you go, because they never win.
They had that season in 2002 where they're runners up in the Champions League, runners up in the Bundesliga, runners up in the German Cup, and they should have won them all. I mean,
2002.
yeah, and they won nothing. And they've
Yeah,
since
listen,
recruited.
there's still a long way to go, right? I mean, Bayern Munich could still yet win it, and let's not forget they now have Eric Dyer in their squad, so you know, huge depth and strength for them. I personally don't really care about whether they win or they don't win.
Keep our eye on it.
Ultimately, my only view on it is nothing to do with Harry Kane. It is that I don't generally want the big boys to win.
You
So I
know
want
what though?
Leverkusen.
I think it made me think about Eric Dyer going there, and you know sometimes when obviously he doesn't fit in our system at all, but you know sometimes when these players Bayern do pick up players every now and then, and you think what have they seen in him?
Like Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting.
Yeah, and
Eric
who's
Dyer
the guy
should
that
do
plays
well
up
there.
front for them? That
yeah,
was
Moting at Stoke.
no, there was the other guy that was at Arsenal,
Nabry.
Gnabry.
Yeah.
Couldn't get in the Arsenal side, and all of a sudden he's scoring in the Champions League. So sometimes, you know, players move and or other leagues suit them, or sometimes
I
they turn out they see something that we haven't seen.
No, I think Dyer will do well there. They're not going to be under so much pressure. He's not going to have to do so much defending. He's very, very good with the ball at his feet, and I think he will do well.
You don't think Kane's just building a 4-ball for his golf?
Apparently Kieran Trippier's on his way out there. So,
Well, there you go.
Was I the only Spurs fan then that didn't think that Reguilon could, when he came back from on loan from United?
Can't play inverted. Not good enough.
no way. He's not technically good
So
enough.
it was obvious he was coming back to us and then going straight out, because I thought
Yeah.
there was a chance that that he could
No.
stick around.
No, just to finish off the club news, I've got written down here something about Emerson Royal in brackets Gary.
No, just that he's been linked with a move to Saudi, hasn't he? There's been bids coming in.
Don't
and-
sell.
And well, this is it. This was the conversation I wanted to have. I also did want to say about Perisic, by the way. I thought he was fantastic in his time at Tottenham and deserves a bit more of a mention.
Top player. I really liked him. We had this discussion over a few years. I wish we'd signed him 4 or 5 years earlier, but we were never going to get him. Top player.
Yeah,
Had his moments at Spurs.
he was at the back end of his career. I think.
Was he played in his best position?
No, I think his best position was left wing.
Right.
And if he hadn't got injured, I think along with Porro, he'd probably be one of the highest assists in the league at the minute.
Yeah.
For us, he was playing very, very well. At
He
the
wouldn't be
beginning
playing
of
ahead
the
of
season.
Udogie
No, but it'd be coming
off the bench.
But he wouldn't be playing in that position anyway, Udogi's position. He'd be coming on off the bench after 60, 70 minutes
As a
at that
forward,
left wing
yeah,
position.
which
right?
is
And
where he
just-
was playing.
Yeah, and just
Do you
clip
think
it.
we'd still be signing Timo Werner if we had Perisic? Very different players.
Very different players, but no, probably not. If Perisic was fit, would there have been a reason to sign Werner? Probably not. Yeah, fantastic player at the back end of his career, and we definitely didn't see the best of him.
And great
But
hair.
he was somebody that I sort of had a dislike to because I thought you always overrated him. But actually, you could see his real quality when he was here.
I know ball.
I was going to say, what you're saying is all along Johnny was actually right.
I think
and you're sorry.
He's a proper professional, very, very good player.
We need an apology.
I still don't
I'm-
think he's
I'm
as
waiting for the
good.
apology.
I don't think he's as good as you bigged him up to be, but very, very good.
Where's
player
my
for sure.
apology?
It was, but Emerson Royale, yeah, don't sell. I agree. Where
No,
are you
he's
at
not.
there?
He won't be going.
But in the summer, there's a conversation to be had. And what price would you sell Royale for in the summer? Because for me, he's not a starter, and he's never going to be a starter, right?
30 to 40 mil.
Whatever price.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is, whatever price you're selling for, Levy will probably get more. So
Yeah, I'd sell for 30. Levy's getting 35.
yeah.
Okay. Something else that just want to bring up: a Wolves fan, commentator James Fielden, sent me this. I'm going to put on our screens. Like I haven't said for a while. If you do listen to us on Spotify, thank you very much, or Apple or whatever. But also watch us on YouTube because Gary's very handsome and you should watch him. Sent me this.
Or if you watch on YouTube, go listen to us on Spotify.
Yeah, and you can watch us on Spotify too. So
Both at the same time.
just do it.
There you go.
He sent me this and said, "Would this be worth anything?" He at
What's
the time.
this?
This is a ticket for Spurs into the Taxi for Macken game when Bale ripped into it apart. And he said, "Do you think?" He said, "Obviously, there's a load of. He's got a Watford one there, all sorts of things. He's obviously clearing out his cupboards of all the football stuff that he's got, the games he's been to.
It's East Upper Block B, so that's a good seat. You wouldn't get that. You wouldn't pay that price.
66 quid now, decent. So anyway, he said, "Would that be worth it into a Spurs fan?" I said, "No, probably not. I mean, great memories." And then it got me to thinking, "What's your favourite bit of Spurs memorabilia?" And I don't really have that much. I used to have load of program every single week. My mum threw them all away. That's a Wolves season ticket, I reckon.
Yeah, I know it is. But do you remember when we had the wallets?
You had to guess what the match
and you
number
had to
was.
throw them on the pitch.
Yeah, you could throw them with 4-0 down home to Blackburn.
Last home game of the season. This is rubbish. You throw it on the pitch. I'm not coming again. Give up my season.
Can't do that now because
Yeah,
you're
mate, last
losing.
home game of the season.
You're losing your phone.
You
if
lose
do
your
that.
phone.
So anyway, he said, "Is it worth something?" I said, "No," but
not to me at least.
you're not going to get anything for that. But I was thinking like my favourite bit of Spurs memorabilia or nostalgia. There's a book called Glory, Glory Nights that I literally used to read every single night in bed. I think it's still going and they've updated it. And,
So your mum threw away all your programs.
threw away my programs, and I did have when they knocked down the old North Stand in '90s, early 2000s, whenever that was. Our block sign, block 152, whatever.
Oh, you nicked it, did you?
Basically,
Right, okay.
sorry, Daniel. I can't find it. It was in the garage at home. That's
Now that would be
disappeared.
good.
Yeah, it's gone. You favourite bit of Spurs?
It's got to be
Nonsense.
my first. It's probably an obvious one. My first Spurs shirt kit because I was 5 years old. So it's literally like
You still have it?
I still got it.
Oh, wow.
Klinsmann on the back. It's literally like this big. The shorts are like that. Yeah,
Probably still fits you then.
probably. Yeah, right. So yeah, it's that, and it's got Jurgen. It's got Klinsmann 18 on the back.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
I've got two. I think one. A lot of people have. The season ticket holders from Old White Hart Lane got what is allegedly a little patch of grass in a sort of a key ring, and I've kept that.
Yeah.
Never used it as a key ring because I would never wish to lose it. I don't know if it's genuinely White Hart Lane turf, but I want to believe that it is. And on the assumption that it is, I will treasure that. And the other one is when I was younger, I got a shirt from Gary Mabbott that had been signed by Mabbott and the whole squad at that time. So that's now framed. It was, the blue away shirt that spelt out Spurs, right?
Oh, but then never you wore it. I loved that kit.
Right. Apparently he did wear it, except that it's absolutely massive, and Gary Mabbott isn't that huge. So
No, I think he was quite big.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is a big shirt. And the game that I think he must have worn it in, so I've tried to work it out, I think it must have been Newcastle's first game back in the Premier League
wore
up
it
at
in
St James's, and Teddy Sheringham went round the keeper and we won 1-0. And I've got a feeling it's that game that he wore
What
it.
year are we talking?
It was about 94,
Earlier, I think.
93, 94, round about then. So I've got that.
I think Newcastle came up in 92, 93.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
93,
that's more
94.
likely. Yeah.
So anyway, so I've got that shirt, and that's the game that for some reason I've worked out that must have been the game in which he wore it.
Our away kit wasn't the purple kit; it was a blue one.
No, it was and that's the shirt I've got anyway. That blue one that spells out Spurs, and it's
Right.
got
Is
Mabbott
that the
on
first year of Holston?
No,
It says-
Holston.
Holston must be the year after that then.
Holston have been around for ages.
Yeah,
No,
Holston was in 19.
So is that the last
final.
year of Hummel?
Ooh,
Is
no,
that
that's
what-
a good question. Might have been. Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. But
If anyone knows the kit suppliers of Hummel,
so there's my
talking of teams in blue.
I've got another one actually.
Oh, right.
Well, I've got programs, but they're probably not as
I
old
was
as
just
yours.
about to link it really nicely, but go on.
I will play.
Go on.
Programs from the first.
Link it
Tottenham
after
game I
this. See
went
if you can do it smoothly.
to. When would yours have been from? What year?
A whole bunch of programs from when I started going in 87 up until sort of
Well, mine would be 94.
mid 90s.
Tottenham.
Had loads.
The mistake that you made in that era at that age was leaving them under your bed, where the assumption generally was just throw it out, don't look at it.
That's for another pod, Gary. We want people to share their favourite Spurs memorabilia pieces with us. The most nostalgic piece on where should they do it? Message on Twitter.
Twitter at EOGTHFC
Instagram. You can DM us on Instagram. The DMs are open at Echo of Glory.
Or reply on the YouTube link. On
Just
YouTube.
send us messages. We'll read them out. Send us any pictures. We can show them next
Yeah,
week.
we'll do it next week. So your favourite bit of Spurs memorabilia, nostalgia, anything you got, let us know.
Also, if you know Rory Allen and
Andy
Donald
Turner.
Trump and Andy Turner.
Yeah. Okay. Segue
So I
again.
bust your segue.
You bust my segue. We're playing Man City on Friday.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do we feel about
Are
that?
you going?
I'm not going. How do we feel about that? Because I remember before the draws, anybody at home, and then you get
Literally anybody at home,
And
isn't
then
it? Apart from
Man City,
I mean,
Liverpool.
just even Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool are doing well. They're
but
because you can say anyone at home because you know that anyone apart from us, we can't get us. So there's another 31 teams left, is it?
Mhm.
So basically, anyone is what are the odds? Any other team apart from one.
it's not a great draw. It's a great draw. It's a great occasion, but
It's not a great draw.
you want to get through and
It's arguably the worst draw. No, City away.
City away would be the
City
worst.
away,
draw.
Liverpool away.
Thing is, though, the other way to look at it is this: if we get through, right, then you're going to have left in the next round Liverpool, United, one
Yeah.
of Chelsea and Villa, and it opens up.
Little
It really does start to open up a little bit if we get through. I feel like with City, again, it goes back to if we had our first team, then I'd really give us a good chance. But I think one of Højbjerg or Skip will start on the basis we haven't heard much about Lo Celso.
Madison's not going to play.
It doesn't look like Madison will play. So I think returning from Old Trafford will be Kulusevski, and he will take the place of one of Højbjerg or Skip. And if we could have had Son on the left rather than Werner, because Son always plays well against them, and if we could have had one of Sarr or Bissouma, or Madison,
Or Lo Celso.
or Lo Celso.
Because even Bentancur with Lo Celso and Kulusevski is
Correct.
It's a bit
He's
more.
got a couple of goals against City himself, so one at home, one this season.
Yeah. So
He kind of gets. He's. I wouldn't say he hasn't
Big
quite
game
got
player.
Yeah, he hasn't quite become the man for the big occasion, but he gets. But he's got the temperament, I
But
think,
the
to
thing
deal
is,
with it.
what
with the
he
big
will do
games.
well is, and I know that Højbjerg came on and changed the game against City. I don't know how much I completely agree with that statement, but what Lo Celso does do well against a team like City is he protects the ball well. He can take it under pressure. He can beat a press by beating a man. And when you're playing a team like City, if you've got players like Bentancur and Lo Celso, it just makes it a lot harder.
Quick feet can beat a man in there and get a
And-
pass away
and,
quickly.
and you get away from them, and
When
it
the
just makes
game's on
it
a
much
real
harder.
knife
They've got to
edge.
be a little bit more cautious
Yeah.
about how they're going about things. So, yeah, I think a hell of a tough game. I think Udogie and Werner have to push Walker back. They cannot. They've got to get on top of him, and they've got to be dominating down that side. And it's all well and good to say, let Walker go cavaliering up front, and you leave Werner in there and all that space. And that's often how how Son has hurt them. But I think
That's how Newcastle hurt them. City all over the place for the first half. In that first half,
yeah,
Walker was just went AWOL.
That's the point. But I don't know that Werner necessarily has the quality that Son has, where when you get him in, he's actually going to hurt them. So I just hope that Udogie and Werner, to me, the sign that City is struggling is Walker sitting back a bit. And if he's sitting back a bit, then we're probably in not a bad place. And it's not that, Walker's the be all and end all, because they've got obviously so many great players. But when he is cavaliering forwards, and that's because they're on the front foot, they're dominating and so on. So that's
And isn't it great to see Kevin De Bruyne back?
Oh, so wonderful.
Yeah.
It's going to be whatever the outcome. It's going to be a good game. I personally, now the draw's done and dusted, and we've got who we've got. I just see it as like, what if we lose? What can we do? It's City,
Yeah.
So I'm actually I'm looking forward to the game in the sense that I think it will be a really good game to watch. It'll be a good game of football. Both sides will give it their, go at it and really go for it. And I kind of think that it's City, so you can't fancy us to win necessarily. Just one of those things. We got a bad draw, and if we go out, I won't. Depending on what happens in the game, I'm sitting here right now. If we go out, I'll just kind of look at it as well. I see it as a bit of a free hit. If we win, I'm going out Friday night.
5 games, 86 shots. They've not scored. That's mad, isn't it?
There you go. So
Stadium.
it's-
Bizarre stat, isn't it? It's really bizarre stat. Listen, I think for sure they're going to score on Friday night. I'd be amazed if they don't score on Friday night. And this isn't about a Ange team giving up more chances, because ultimately they've played us 4 times there and had 5 times and had 86 shots. So you are averaging, what, 15, 17 shots a game, right? So it's not like...
There's 2 penalties in that time.
Yeah, so it's not like they haven't had chances and they're going to score because it's Ange. I'm not saying that because it's Ange we're going to... I actually think, truthfully, they will have fewer shots than they've had in the past, on average, fewer clear-cut chances.
But probably score one.
But because the way we play, when they get in, they will really get in. I mean, they get 1 or 2. Like, that's just standard City. You should say that in every game, right, against City. They get 1 or 2. That's not a comment on Ange. I think we'll give up less chance than we have in the past. But it's just City, and they're so bloody good. It's frustrating how good they are.
We've done it before. Little trip down memory lane. But the 4-3, almost 20 years to the day, 4th of Feb 2004.
The last time we played them in the FA Cup.
Last time we played them in the FA Cup.
I will not be invited back to that pub.
Oh, another pub. Another pub off the list.
I know. I told the story. I was abroad.
You were sorry.
I was watching it in a pub, and yeah, I won't be invited back. There you go.
Do you remember who scored the winner?
I do, vividly. I remember him rising like a salmon.
Should we talk to
at
him?
the far post? Do we have to? Because he hurt me.
He still hurts me.
It's one of them. It still hurts. It really does hurt, that game. That was one of the games that, yeah, it will live forever. Let's do it.
On.
Right, let's do that right now. Delighted to be joined by former Manchester City forward Jon Macken. Jon, thanks so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So we like to take a trip down memory lane on this show. Usually it's good nights. There's glory nights at the lane, big performances, big wins. But as it Spurs, there's always a bump in the road, none more so than the 4th of February 2004, nearly 20 years ago. What are your memories of that night?
Obviously, really good ones. It's, when I've spoke to people about this, about the night, obviously when people have asked and so forth and I've done interviews, I've always said, for me, being a professional footballer and having a career, I think it's always about creating them memories, and no more so than the FA Cup. When you're a young boy, that's what you dream of. You watch all the memorable games, the giant killings, the wins, the finals and so forth. And to be part of one that obviously people still talk about and make a little bit of, I wouldn't say history, but, make them moments and them memories that people remember and, they don't forget and they're reminded of. It was very special for me as being a player.
I was talking to someone else actually recently who played in that game, Sean Wright-Phillips, and he said that obviously Spurs were 3 up and cruising and Joey Barton got sent off. But at half time, and maybe you can confirm this, you guys were sort of going at each other in the dressing room. There was a bit of arguing, and one of Kevin Keegan's assistants said, "Look, we get 1 goal, we're in this."
I'm not sure I can remember it a little bit as much as that. Like, I think it was a little bit of a shock, really. You know what? Listen, I'm not saying it didn't happen. For me, it was just more of a where do we go from here kind of attitude. I'm sure there was a bit of a shouting match, and I think Joey getting sent off, obviously the manager had a few things to say, but, I remember it a little bit differently where, everyone was a little bit quiet. There wasn't much said. There wasn't loads of, tactical, this is what we've got to do, that's what we've got to do. try and get a goal back, because honestly, we was totally outplayed, overplayed. I think Tottenham that night, that first half especially, was outstanding. Everything he was doing was just overrunning us. They were playing miles better than us, and we just couldn't get a foothold in the game at all. And it was a case of, right, okay, then what's the second half going to bring? For me, looking back, I was just thinking, right, come on, then we've got to give something. We've got to show a little bit of attitude, a little bit of character. And I think a lot of the lads was feeling the same. But I think anyone would be lying if we would say we would go into that second half thinking, right, we can get something out of this game, because you don't just look at the scoreline, you're looking at the performance, and we was dead on our feet. We wasn't playing well at all. We couldn't string 2 passes together. Things wasn't going right. It was, once again, Joey getting sent off. You're looking at that, you're thinking decisions are going against us. So you just don't believe you're going to get anything in the game. You hope so. You're hoping that things will change and, you might get a goal. And if you get a goal, at least you've shown a little bit of character. Try and win the second half, which obviously would have been scoring a goal and winning 1-0. not allowing Tottenham to get a goal, which it would have been 3-1. That would have been kind of a result, or at least shown a little bit of character, a little bit of fight back. But in the changing rooms, I don't think there was much belief that we could get anything out of the game. It was just a case of, right, okay, then let's go out and at least show a little bit of character, a little bit of fight.
You had one win in 18 before that, so nothing like Spurs to kickstart your season.
Well, exactly. There was nothing there to show that, what happened, in terms of, it's always possible, don't get me wrong, because we had a very talented squad. We had some really, really good players. But, like I said, it wasn't just a scoreline at half-time or being down to 10 men. We just wasn't playing well at all. We wasn't playing well in the build-up to it. We wasn't playing well in that first half. So you're kind of just thinking to yourself, right, what can we show here? What have we got within ourselves? And sometimes you dig deep, but I've said on many interviews as well. We went out. I wouldn't say early, but we went out a little bit early, and we were stood in the tunnel, and we could hear the Man City supporters cheering and singing. And that was a surreal moment when thinking back, because it kind of inspired us a little bit, or inspired me definitely a little bit to think, wow, what have they just seen in the first half that they can be cheering and still supporting us?
John, on that, you come back out onto the pitch, and by the way, I want to thank you for. Football fans always wear the scars of their team, and that is a prevalent one for me. It was a really painful night, capped off by your goal deep into the second half. But what point coming back onto the pitch and in the second half did belief start to grow within the City team, and what did change out there? Did Tottenham just stop playing? Did City start playing? How did it happen?
Well, I think you get one. You get one goal, don't you? And you think to yourself, right, we've scored a goal. Let's give the fans something to cheer about. And we got it quite early on, if I can remember rightly. And we started playing. We started fighting. I think we were just working a lot harder for each other, collectively and individually, and things were starting to click a little bit. And you get the second, which was, if I'm right, it was a deflection, wasn't it? I think.
We've got a view on the second goal.
No, it's the third goal. We'll come to the third goal. The second goal was Bosvelt. It took a big deflection and went over the keeper. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, and you look at that. I mean, the first goal you get, you think, yeah, brilliant. The second goal you get a deflection. You're thinking, oh, hang on a minute. Are things not turning, because at that moment it's still 3-2, and Tottenham have got fantastic players. Battered us in the first half. We know they can just kick into gear at any moment. And I do think they kind of, I won't say switched off, but it was kind of a 3-0. This is easy.
Look, 10 men, 10 men, yeah.
10 men, this is easy. Let's just keep going, and everything will be okay. Even when we got the second, I just think it was, they probably switched off a little bit. Wasn't quite thinking these are going to get anywhere near us. And arguably, understandable, because it was, the first half performance and our, form going into it was nowhere near what it should have been, but also what I suppose them players at that time was thinking, oh, we've got any issues here, we've got any trouble, we've got anything to worry about.
Well, here's the third one, John. I don't know if you can see it. He's miles off.
What are your thoughts on this, John?
Look at that. VAR's calling that.
Have you ever seen that before? Has anybody shown you that before?
Yeah, I've actually seen it, and I was speaking about it the other day, and I said, nowadays that would have been given off, but it's kind of, you think about it now, don't you? Think, well, it was kind of written for us, wasn't it? To be given that. I mean, look where the linesman is as well.
He should have seen it, shouldn't he?
I don't know if there's someone down here at the right back position, but I don't think there is, and he's offside. There you go.
No, I don't think he was, but he's definitely offside. And when it was a fantastic finish. Don't get me wrong, fantastic finish by Wrighty, and that's when you 3-0. You pull 3 goals back, and we're all ecstatic, thinking, wow, look. I was thinking personally, even if we get beat now, what a comeback this has been. What a fight back this has been. At least we'll get some credit for that. And then, it just kind of changed with the cross from Michael Turner.
I was going to say to you just now, what were your memories of your goal that late in the game as the ball came across? Is it one of them slow motion moments where it just happens, and you can see it and before it's even arrived?
I'll be honest. It kind of, as soon as he crossed it, I knew where it was going because obviously I knew he's a fantastic player and his delivery's wonderful. And you do sessions like that from deep, just outside the box, crossing the ball in and timing your runs. But I think as soon as I connected with it, I kind of knew where it was going, and I knew I connected really well with it. You know what I mean? And as soon as I kind of connected it with it, seeing the goalkeeper moving, I was kind of off. And I think it was a lot of relief when it went in, thinking, God, how long's left now?
And what was it like afterwards, John? Because obviously the manager was Kevin Keegan. Everyone knows him as a passionate manager, I think would be a fair way to describe him. What was he like afterwards?
Well, obviously he was ecstatic, wasn't he? He was kind of like going, we all was, was that a little bit of disbelief as well, because you can't believe what you've just been part of, I suppose, witness for other people. And it was a kind of surreal moment where you're just trying to take it in that you've just beat Tottenham in a replay in the FA Cup, one of them special moments, them special memories that you dream of as being a player, being part of. And fortunate for me, I got the winning goal, and people was coming up to me, congratulating me, and so forth. And Kevin was the same. I think he was in a little bit of disbelief as well. He's been through many situations and scenarios of greater, I suppose, magnitude than that. Being the career he had and so forth. But I think to be manager of a team at that moment when you're down and out, and your form's not good, and people are questioning yourselves and the team, and the team, to be part of that and to be the manager of that is something special. And I think he obviously he felt the emotions as well as everybody else.
John, you scored 131 senior goals in your career. Is that, you must have scored some great goals? Wasn't probably the best goal you ever scored, but is it up there with the one you remember the most?
Absolutely, 100%. It's because it's people still. I mean, 20 years after, I'm on a podcast with yourselves and we're talking about it. And,
that's because I still hurt from it. So.
This is therapy for Gary. This could be the end now.
I'm going to have a little dig. It's coming. Go on.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, your next game was away at Old Trafford and you got knocked out, so you saved us that.
I actually got dropped as well. So no.
I feel bad now.
I can honestly remember when Kevin came and told me in the morning of the game that I was starting on the bench, and I wasn't too happy, put it that way.
No, I'm sure.
A few words, but I understood in the end. At the end, he wanted to go, and obviously we wanted to progress. But I felt as though I deserved to be playing, and because I think when we went on the run, I'd come back in the team. Obviously, when Nicholas was injured, and I felt as though I did okay. I did well enough to be starting in the next round against obviously United, but it wasn't to be. But at least I was part of that special game. I think in the first leg, apparently the commentator does say, doesn't it? I should have scored. I should have won it in the first leg as well. But
you had your moment a few weeks later. Don't worry about that.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you left City a year later, and it's a very different club now to the one you left. You still keep your eye on them, and how do you see Friday's fourth round game going against Tottenham?
Yeah, I do. I go to obviously I do the radio and the commentary and stuff, and be guest there sometimes. And I'm always. I mean, it's a fantastically run football club now. It is what it is, but it's run well. The manager's fantastic. They've got fantastic players. The style of football. Sometimes I think when you're commentating can be a little bit frustrating because teams come and they just sit behind the ball and it's difficult. But they always find a way. They always find a way. And the achievements last year was phenomenal, wasn't it? It was unbelievable, and it was just as well. It was deserved. So I think at the moment they're a totally different club from when I was there in terms of obviously the money and the way they've structured it now, but. It's certainly striving for bigger and greater things.
When they won the treble, like you say, the achievement last year, Pep was asked, where does he go now? And his answer was to score a goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 4 games there, 86 shots, no goals. No City player has scored there. You've obviously scored there. Maybe he can pick you, but how do you? I mean, you say that teams sit back. Ange is not going to do that on Friday.
Well, I love the way he plays, and I absolutely love the way he plays. I love the way he speaks, everything about him. I think he's a fantastic manager and a person as well. Because listen, I don't know him personally, but what I hear and what I see, I just think he's correct in his mannerisms and the way he goes about trying to play the football. And it's not always going to work. It's not always going to work with it. And people might become frustrated sometimes when they lose certain games. But for me, it's the positivity of him. It's not being scared to take chances or to do different things. And I just think he's a fantastic manager. Honestly, I really do. And I do think he'll be a big success at Tottenham. And for me, obviously scoring at Tottenham, I always loved playing there. It was one of my teams that I obviously always kind of looked at. And I always loved playing at White Hart Lane. It was one of my favourite grounds to go to and play, and obviously to be part of a special moment like that was even extra special. But I'm glad to see him doing better now, doing well.
And talking to managers yourself now, you're a manager at Witton Albion. How's that going?
Yeah, it's going all right. We had a bit of a dodgy start. It was results. I think throughout football, you can agree or disagree, but it's a very strange season, this one. It seems to be everyone's beating everyone, and you can't really predict a score from every league, and that's from the Premier League all the way down to the league I'm in, which is it's top will beat bottom and bottom will beat top, and it's a strange season, and you get them every now and again. And we had a bit of an indifferent start, slow start, because funny enough, pre-season it's probably the best pre-season I've been involved in terms of preparation, in terms of performances. In your build-up games up to in pre-season, your build-up games and who you play with were fantastic, honestly. And then season kicks in and everything changes. Yeah. And I know the competitive edge, but you've got to do them games building up to and try and build into the rhythm of things. And honestly, we were fantastic. And we had a slow start, but we've done all right over the last couple of weeks. We got beat on Saturday 1-0, but I think we deserved something out of the game, and it was just one of them games, a set play, deflected goal in, and it was they beat us 1-0. But
we know deflected goals feels.
Deflected goals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was up until that, I was really, really pleased with our last 2 or 2.5 months. We've done really well. I think we've won 6 out of 8. So we've done okay.
Well, we'll take a 1-0 deflector on our Friday. John, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck for the rest of the season with Witton, and really appreciate you coming on.
Cheers, John. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you. Cheers. And good luck to yourselves and Tottenham.
Thanks, John. Cheers.
All the best.
Great to talk to Jon Macken. I mean, look, he just shows he loved that night, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, of course. If you're, we've had them nights before. Obviously, you'll say that the Champions League semi-final because it was Champions League semi-final, but it's also when you come back, any game in which you come back from and win. Sheffield United earlier this season, will live long in.
They stay with you, don't they?
They do. They're just staying.
Even Liverpool, they were down to 9, but the way we won it.
Always those games, but particularly as an away team, 3-0 down in the cup, terrible form. I actually think Joey Barton wins them that game.
I was going to ask John that. Had they had 11, would they have been had that fire in their belly? I don't think so.
And would Tottenham have... Spurs must have eased up. Yeah. They must have eased up, right? Yeah. So, particularly if they had 11 and they even get a goal back, maybe but even with 10, they get a goal back and they'll still reckon Spurs, it's all right. So I think Joey Barton actually won them that game. But yeah, of course...
we don't get him on.
but of course, like Jon Macken should rightly remember that, because it is an iconic goal it's everything Spursy, that game. Absolutely. I mean, you want to coin the term Spursy, that is the game.
Yeah.
More so than United 3-0 up at half-time and losing 5-3, because that's United.
United were a top team.
They're a top team.
Top players.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Whereas City were in terrible form.
One win in 18.
And, at half-time, nobody.
I mean, looking at the teams as well, we're I'd say head and shoulders above them just on paper.
Yeah, some good players. Fowler.
Yeah, they got Fowler and Anelka. And McManaman's on the bench. Anelka came off after 27 minutes. They've got Trevor Sinclair and I'm guessing a young Sean Wright-Phillips. Sylvan Distan, Richard Dunn. I mean, we've got.
Distan was a good player.
not
Yeah, but
bad,
hold
is
on,
he?
hold
Dunn was
on.
a good
We've got
player.
our back four is Stephen Carr, Dean Richards, Anthony Gardner, and Christian Ziege, which I would say is a better back four than theirs.
No, it's not a lot in it.
Sorry, Ledley King's playing. We're playing a back five. King's there as well. Simon
No,
Davies.
King may well have been in midfield, to be fair. at
maybe
that
he
stage
was.
of his career.
Simon Davies, Michael Brown, Robbie Keane, and Helder Postiga. Okay,
How
we know
were we
about
3
him.
0 up?
It's not a
Gus
great
Poyet
team.
off the
Actually,
Gus
getting back
Poyet-
on, they should have been 5 up at
Well,
half-time.
Postiga went off after 9 minutes, so that's
he
probably
was
why.
lauding Tottenham in the first half. I hear that team. I'm like, how bad were you?
Who
lot?
came on for Postiga?
Yeah, Poyet. It's not, not
Very
not
even teams.
very even
Yeah,
teams.
Not
Well,
great.
off the top of your head, similar. What about Tottenham? We said the ones this season. I can think of more recently that Leicester game at the King Power. a few
Oh,
seasons
That was
ago.
anniversary of
great.
that came up.
Ajax, obviously.
One that sticks in my head is, did you come to this Charlton away
Yeah.
when we were 2-0 down?
Yeah.
I remember, I might be mixing
I
my
was there.
Charlton away games, but it was not long.
Darren
Oh,
Bent scored for them.
Darren Bent,
I'm
he was
sure he
giving
was
it
giving
all the
it.
2-0.
Yeah,
We won
yeah.
3-2, but I'll never forget that game because we'd got the train. It was just after 9/11 and everyone was a bit twitchy. And they made us get off the train. They went, this train terminates here because of a suspect package. And we were like, God, we've got to get to the valley.
Never mind the package.
We've got to get to the valley. So we went outside. We were still on north side of the river. And we saw a taxi. You know that thing where taxi drivers will don't go south of the river?
Yeah.
He actually said it to us, don't go south of the river. And he went, oh, you're Spurs? Jump in, lads. He still charged us.
If anyone knows that taxi driver.
But yeah, I think it might have been a different Charlton game. But yeah, 2-0 down.
No,
to
I
the
was
Valley.
at that one. I was at that one.
What year are we talking, roughly?
Well, when was that? 2001?
Oh,
I think that was my
yeah,
last
two.
trip to the Valley. A comeback for me, one of my favourite because I was there as well, was we didn't win, but the 4-4 at the Emirates, where we were
Felt like
2
it.
down.
4-2 down going into like the 87th minute, and Genus cold
Later,
one
I
in.
think.
Huh?
Possibly later.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Genus cold one in. You think?
Yes, based on the Sean Wright Phillips.
Yeah.
And it's funny enough, we had Aaron Len on our Premier League channel about
That's another
3
one
weeks
I'd love
ago,
to get on.
working on it.
Yeah.
About 3 weeks ago, and he actually said, "I think that would have been offside now."
Yeah, I think it would have been
Yeah.
when it was Modric that shot.
Yeah.
And I think Aaron Lennon goes a fraction of a second too early. But again, it's what we raised it to John Macken, and he actually gave a measured, fair response.
Yeah, he
I was
said
kind
it's-
of expecting him to go, yeah, but I'll take it. Because my view is on that Aaron Lennon goal, I hope it was offside. I really hope it was
Yeah,
offside.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Just to,
That says more about you, though, that doesn't it?
yeah, it
Other
says I'm a little
comebacks.
git.
Other comebacks, obviously Ajax, but it's over 2 legs. I'm trying to think of a 3 down where we've turned it round. That West Ham 4-3, that wasn't necessarily a comeback.
Leicester, were we 2-0 down? Leicester away at the King Power.
That was
we were
2-1. 2-1.
We were a goal down.
2-1.
We won 3-2.
Yeah,
Think.
yeah,
Yeah.
3-2.
Oh, you mean, yeah.
I think it has happened. I think there is something that is bugging me that there was a game we were 3 down and we pulled it back, but I couldn't tell you what it was. So put it out there, Jake. Ask them.
If you know anyone that played in that game.
No,
What is the game?
What the game
What
was?
is the game that we were 3-0 down? Yeah, send it
I
to
can't think of one.
Twitter, Instagram, at
Must
Echo
have
of Glory.
Must have happened.
Yeah,
Well, hopefully they can
we were
tell us.
2-0. Yeah, we were 2-0 down in the cup.
Well, we were 3-0 down against Ajax.
Yeah, I said that, but over 2 legs.
No, but in
Well,
that
in
one
the
3-0
game,
down
tie.
going into the
In the
second
tie,
half.
yeah.
But even going into the second half,
No,
we needed
yeah.
3 goals.
Yeah.
we were
But
2-0
City
down.
got 4.
We were
with
2-0
10 men.
down.
Yeah.
Have we been
Away from
2-0
home.
down?
Away
or
from
not?
home.
2-0 down. Yeah.
Against who?
No, I just remember one against Southampton in the cup replay.
Oh no, that was Ronnie
Rosenthal
Rosenthal.
hat-trick. Yeah, but we were 2-0 down at half time, I think.
Yeah. Goalkeeper waved a few of those plastics.
Ball swerved.
The ball did swear. I've talked about that game before because we watched it round at sort of cousins, and they lived
Was
in
that
a
where you were holding the area? Was that?
Well, no, they lived they lived in a row of houses in St Albans where you weren't allowed a satellite dish.
That's it.
And Brian put a satellite dish hidden behind the chimney, and we were running out on the street. It's fairly obvious what we were doing, what we were watching. But yeah, okay, yeah. Let us know if you can think of any 3 downs that we've. The 4 all against Villa, but again, we weren't.
Yeah,
On that
that was
horrible
the
anniversary.
anniversary, and they were singing happy birthday to us.
Talking of happy birthdays, we forgot Martin Yell's birthday last week.
Big man,
You love Martin.
Godfather.
Yeah.
God, do I love him.
Yeah.
So where are you going to be
Happy
watching the
birthday,
game?
Martin. At home.
And you?
At my parents, got a big dinner for my wife's birthday, and I have to point at this point, it's not my wife who's saying we can't go. My mum, who's making a big dinner for my wife's birthday, has put her foot down.
No, your wife would probably be happier to have a birthday without you there, wouldn't she?
So I've listen.
I will be.
get it,
I'll be heading out the door at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I was going to say never seen again. What time would we be sitting down for dinner in the Blaine senior house?
Don't know. We'll get it sorted.
8:05 round the table.
No, 7 to be finished by 8.
Right. Okay. Well, then you're sorted. Then,
That's
aren't
the
you?
plan. Yeah.
Dessert on your lap.
I thought he was supposed to get Deserby on my lap.
Excuse me.
Desserts. You've seen him eat. That's why the dessert's on his lap.
What's for dinner? What does wife's birthday dinner?
Don't know. Let you know next week.
Oh yeah, please.
I'm looking forward to Friday.
Well,
I
I
think
said to
it's
John.
gonna be-
I said to John, it was 4 games, 86 shots. But as I said before, 5 games, 86 shots, no goals. Like you've said, I think they'll probably score. So let's have your predictions, Jake.
I think it might be 2-2.
I hope not.
Oh, I don't want to replay.
Don't want to replay.
I really don't want to replay.
See, somebody.
Do not wanna replay.
I heard somebody say something similar. Maybe it was on. Maybe you guys last week. And I was
Other pods.
I think it might have been you guys. Replay for us? Why not? We're not playing any extra
No, I
games.
don't want
Hang
to
on,
go
he,
to
he
City
makes a
or
decent
whatever.
point, right? When does the Champions League kick off
Yeah.
again? When does their fixture congestion
this is
kick in?
the
If we had a
ones where-
replay,
this is the
if we had a
one se-
replay,
yeah.
would it,
All right,
would it
lads,
suit us
calm
more
down.
than them?
Yeah.
I'm getting. I'm
Well,
saying
apart from the fact we've got to go to them.
yeah, okay, yes,
So
fine.
so that no, but then it means that
13th of
offset.
Feb.
Do you think the
Champions League, 13th of Feb.
when would the replay be?
before then? Surely.
No, there's no room. There's that midweek round on the 31st. Then they play Saturday. It could be in between the 5th.
So
Yeah,
they
so
could have. They
A
could have. They
replay
could have a
suits
before the
us way
Champions
better than
League.
it
yeah,
suits
but they
them.
could have like a league game and then Champions League game coming up.
You don't want
Anyway,
it.
no, we don't want the replay. Really,
Prediction, Gaz?
But why?
It's another
Well,
game
listen,
away
Yeah,
from
But
home.
we
Listen.
don't have any. We don't
We're
have
away
any-
to
Look,
City.
if we're 2-1
Yeah.
down going into injury time,
Take a
I'll the
replay.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to be in the hat. Okay,
And 2-1 up is going to be like, go on, City, I want a replay.
No, I don't want it that
You're talking
much.
like you just
I
want
don't-
a
I don't want it
replay.
that. Yes, you're right. I want us to lose. Actually, that's it. You got me. I don't want any more games. No extra games.
Do you know what? Games against City are like so hard to predict, aren't they? I didn't when we went 3-2 down at their place earlier in the season. I thought game over, game done. I didn't even expect anything from that game, and then Kulusevski pops up with a great header from Johnson's cross on the left. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
You have to give me a prediction. So that I
I'm
can tell
going
you
to be
were wrong
positive.
next
I'm
week.
going to go. I don't know. I'm going to say 3-2 Tottenham just for the sake of a prediction.
You said 2-2.
2-2.
2-1 City.
I don't want to.
Get out
At half time, they have a man sent off.
and win 4-1.
Yeah.
2-1, eh?
2-0 Spurs. And despite all I've said,
Wow.
it continues.
Oh, wouldn't you love that?
And they get to they have 14 attempts and it gets to 100 and they still
would be
haven't
good.
scored.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
But 2-1 City. But, gentlemen, leaving it there. We've got 2 shows next week. They might be live. Need to speak to James at the brilliant Launchpod Studios. He said no chance. We're going to have to
He's
be.
actually listening.
He's actually listening. I thought he'd gone to get lunch.
Yeah.
He's coming
hang
in.
on.
What does he need? What does he need to do? We can do it
You
live.
just got to press the button.
Put some more money in the meter, and away we go.
All right, we've got 2 shows next week on Tuesday before Brentford, and then Thursday before Everton, where we have, as it stands, a very special guest who played for Everton coming on the show. Not Richard Goff. Gentlemen, thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you.
and we'll see you soon. And up the Spurs.